Hi folks, today we're going to have a look at this, the LED Lensor XEO19R. I've been putting off doing a review of this, not because I don't like it, there's just so much to tell you about it. So let me jump in and hopefully it will become apparent why I was hesitant. So a quick look at the box here. We can see it mounted on a bike that with an additional battery pack. We can use the battery pack as a power bank, and we've got like a little stick-on helmet thing. We've got a GoPro adapter, got a tripod adapter in case you fancy putting it on a tripod. A couple of pictures to give us an example what they're speaking about. Okay. Shift that out of the way. It comes with all these little adapters. This is the one for strapping the battery somewhere on your bike. That's your helmet adapter. That's to put it on your handlebars. You get the drift. It's all kind of all those little bits and bobs are all tucked away in there. Let me shift that out of the way. There's your battery pack. We have an optional 12-volt charger for charging in the car. That's great. Where's the other bit? Oh yeah, here's the extension lead to connect this to the battery pack. And we have, oh hang on, it's not a bike light, hang on, we've also got this, a headlight strap as well. So we've got quite a lot of options with this torch. Let's have a quick look at the battery pack first. And you'll notice these little kind of indentations there. And this is how we connect everything together. But before we do that, there's our charging port. It comes with a 12-volt power adapter for your car, as we just mentioned that, and a mains 240 as well. This little clip here secures the power cord in there. We can check the charge status of the battery at any time by pressing there, and it will blink. I don't know whether you can see that now. 3 blue lights, that's full. Obviously we use it as it'll drop down. And via a variety of methods we can get the torch itself, click it straight to the battery, and then plug that in there, for example, and we can use it like that if we wish. It's a little bit fiddly getting it off. You have to kind of press that little button. There we go. We can also add the battery pack on the light to this in a similar way. You then don't have to have the battery pack on the headband. As you can imagine, it's starting to get a touch heavy. You can have this on, for example, your belt clip, and use the extension lead to extend it from your belt up to, or your pocket I suppose, up to the actual torch on your head. So let me just pause while I get rid of all this clutter for a second. There we go. So for the purposes of showing you how it works, and for this review, I'm going to be leaving it in its handheld mode, which you can twizzle the head around if you wanted it kind of sat in your pocket, or handheld, whatever. So in terms of its specifications, LED Lensor are saying that its maximum power is 2000 lumens and its minimum is 200. Its maximum lighting beam distance is 300 meters, minimum 100, and the same, the battery duration is a maximum of 20 hours and a minimum of 4. Just focusing on that minimum of 4, they didn't say whether that was on, I don't know whether to call it turbo mode, I think I will, or its highest mode. But I tested this light, well, I've tested it extensively. I used it on what I'm going to call its high mode, which I'll show you in a moment. And it was still going strong and still showing 1 bar after 6 hours. So they must be referring to the turbo mode as 4 hours. And to be honest, I didn't believe that. Hence, it was one of the first things that I kind of looked at and thought, no, this isn't going to hold 100% for 4 hours without stepping down or, you know, getting hot or some other complication. And the 100%, as I say, 6 hours, and it didn't get hot and it didn't step down. So I was really impressed. So let's have a quick look. And the first thing you can see, we've got 2 lenses. And LED lenses describe this as having the advanced focus system. And what that means is both of the lenses you can adjust to move it from either a floody beam or a throwy type beam. Each of the 2 LEDs tucked in down there can be controlled by pressing either of those buttons on the side, which would be, I'll call that its low mode. Press it twice, I'll call it its high mode. If I press it again, or 3 times in a row, the Optisense mode. Now I'll come back to the Optisense if I can. So you can control either of the LEDs from these little side buttons. Alternatively, the middle button just simply does the same thing but for both. So low, double click is high, 3 clicks is the Optisense. You've got your blinky modes tucked in at the end there with a strobe and so forth. Beacon, not strobe. Now you heard me mention there Optisense, so we'll come back to that. This back button here, this is your, well, it operates as a lockout. You can hold that for 5 seconds, it will lock the light out, but it also operates as what they've described as an emergency mode. And it's got a beacon on there as well. That'll run for days. And a long press on this front one will activate what I'm calling, sorry about that, turbo mode. Let me just flick that one off again for you. Excuse me. So I skipped over the Optisense there, which was 3 clicks. Anything close, that flickering is an effect of the camera, by the way, not the torch. It will automatically dim down. If I increase the range, it will brighten itself up to the 100% mode, not the turbo 100%. I found that to be really, really useful. You know, if you're reading a map or something like that, or you know, you move up close, it will automatically dim down, and it's quite quick. But it's better to demonstrate that after dark, which I will show you. One final note, they didn't specifically say what the power levels were. So when I've used the term turbo and high, I'm assuming that the turbo is the 2000 lumens. That's the long press there. And I'm assuming that the high mode is the 2 clicks. But they haven't said what the actual lumen output is of that, but the total's 2000. Now, in terms of the actual, you notice that I haven't showed you the manual. I mean, look at this. My God. There isn't a written manual with it. You get this kind of, you know, little picturesque things telling you what it is to do, and it's not particularly clear what it's supposed to be trying to tell us. What was the one that I was looking at, and I thought, you know, what's that one that mean there? You know, with the little shadow face. So there's a bit of trickery there to kind of figure all that little lot out. And bearing in mind, they're also trying to cover all the other attachments as well that that it comes with. So I think I've covered most of it. I probably haven't, I've probably forgotten something. We'll take it out and have a look to see what it can do. 1, 2, 3. I've got the LED Lensor out now on its throw mode, on its lowest setting, if you can call that low. Let's quickly adjust one of the lenses where we try and get a little bit more of a balanced beam, and then the other lens as well, and as we can see, that's putting out, you know, a very respectable amount of light, pretty close for us. Let's turn him off and up to high, 100%. That's just overexposing a second. Let me just yeah, that's about right. So that's our high mode, 100% on its flood, and as we can see, very impressive amount of light being thrown there. And again, we can throw one of the lenses into its zoom mode so we can get a little bit of flood and throw, and we'll turn them both over. And now let's zoom down to the end of that path. Yeah, that's getting there for us, isn't it? Let me engage turbo. Zoom back out for us. Back in again. And then onto its flood mode on turbo. And the high mode, this one here, this is the one that I was, this mode is the one that I mentioned that I'd left it switched on for literally 6 hours. The battery hadn't gone flat, I'd still got the 1 bar on it as I mentioned, and it didn't get hot, it was really good. So let me just add a bit of distance now to, there we are. So still on high, that's those, you're probably getting used to these trees now, aren't you? That's those two over there, that's underexposing now. Let me adjust the camera, there we go, that's about right. And then engage our turbo at the same distance, and as you can see, there's absolutely no problem at all with reaching out to 100. Can I move a bit further down this lake? I don't think that's showing up too well, is it? It's kind of doing it, but it's not a particularly concentrated spot, and the camera's not showing it too well. So let's move back over to there and then zoom out so you can get the kind of full effect. We're overexposing a touch. There we go. Yeah. But one thing I have noticed as well that I'll mention is these buttons are really fiddly to work in the dark. This middle one's fine, of course, you know, I haven't got any issue with that. As are the side controls, no issue at all there. But sorry, when I say your side controls, I meant control the lens. The individual buttons to go to turbo and control the left or right lens, I can't really say you can operate those correctly in the darkness by touch, particularly if you're wearing gloves. That would be certainly a no chance with that. So hopefully this looks as good as it does to me. I'm really impressed with it in particular, and this is the third time I mention it, but mention it again, those run times are absolutely amazingly good. 6 hours on 100%, no heat, no step down, brilliant. Thanks folks. So the one last thing to show you, saving the best till last, the Optisense. So if I put an obstruction such as my hand in front of it, the beam will dim itself and make it much easier on my eye. Now it's probably not coming over too well on the camera because the camera's trying to compensate, of course, but as I remove it, will then increase its brightness slowly to what it feels is appropriate based on the distance. As you can see, it's starting to rain and I've got the decent camera with me and I don't want to get it wet, so I shall pack up and go home.